The main classes of climates identified for African continents can be grouped into three different categories. A. Hot humid climates, B. Arid climates, and C. Temperate climates. In this lecture, the characteristics of Group C, temperate climatic zones of Africa will be discussed. The temperate climates are found in the middle latitudes, 30 degree to 35 degree north, 25 degree to 35 degree south, in the proximity Mediterranean Sea and Indian Ocean. These are characterized by an average temperature during the coldest months lower than 18 degrees Celsius, even if generally the winter season can be considered as mild. The climates with wide temperature ranges and a well-defined seasonal thermal cycle dependent on the strong variation in the height of the sun over the horizon. In the two extreme months, hot and cold, the precipitation regime has equal importance as the thermal one in determining the various climatic types of temperate zone. Since there are areas with maximum rainfall in summer, others in which, on the other hand, there is no rain in this region, and still others where humidity and rainfall is abundant all year round. Another fundamental characteristics of temperate climate is the high variability of the weather, deriving from the fact that the middle latitudes are the normal conflict field between the cold air masses of polar origin and those of hot air coming from the tropics. In Group C, there are three main types of climates. The first one is CF, humid subtropical temperate climate. This climate is found on the eastern sides of the continents between 10 degree and 35 degrees south latitudes. Representative location is Lusaka in Zambia, characterized by relatively high temperatures and evenly distributed precipitation throughout the year. In summer, these regions are largely under the influence of moist maritime airflow from the western side of the ocean waters. Temperatures are high. The warmest months generally average about 27 degrees Celsius, with mean daily maximum from 30 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius, and warm nights. Summers are usually somewhat wetter than winters. The coldest month is usually quite mild, 5 to 12 degrees Celsius, although frosts are not uncommon. The second type within Group C is CW, subtropical temperate climate with dry winter. This kind of climate is usually present in the eastern South Africa and is distinguished by the fact that there is no rain in the winter season and lower temperatures than CF. Representative location is Pretoria in South Africa. The mean daily maximum temperatures vary between 18 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius along the year, with minimum ranges from 3 degrees Celsius to 16 degrees Celsius and cold nights. As CF climates, in CW also, the summers are usually wetter than winters. The third type within Group C is CS, subtropical temperate climate with dry summer. This kind of climate is located on the eastern parts of Mediterranean Sea between 25 degree and 35 degree north latitudes. Representative location is Algiers in Algeria. The climatic conditions are generally pleasant, characterized by hot and dry summer and cool and wet winters, and is also called Mediterranean climate, as it finds its most typical expression along the coast of Euro-African Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean climates tends to be drier than humid subtropical ones. This type of climate is characterized by relatively high temperatures and evenly distributed precipitation throughout the year. In summer, temperatures are high. The warmest months generally average about 27 degrees Celsius, with mean daily maximum from 30 degree to 38 degrees Celsius and warm nights. Summers are usually somewhat dry than winters, even if the humidity ratio from the sea have a constant effect along the year. Also, for such region, the coldest month is usually quite mild, 5 to 12 degrees Celsius. Although, according to traditional Köppen-Geiser classification, Such climate can be found only in the coastal regions on the northeast side of continents, closer to Mediterranean Sea, namely Morocco, Tunis, and Algeria. A similar climate can be identified in the coastal northwest side on the same sea, in Egypt and Libya. In this latter, the summer temperature is slightly higher than east side, while temperature in winter is moderate with limited rainfall that decreases according to the sea distance. A slightly higher temperature with lower precipitation but not enough to be considered as arid characterizes the Nile Delta. Because of the high altitude or the wind breezes due to the sea, the conditions in this genre are similar to spring or autumn in a temperate climate. Temperatures are moderate and during daytime rarely exceeds the upper limits of comfort zones. The range of summer and winter temperatures mainly depends on proximity to the sea with higher temperatures near the coast during cooler periods and higher temperatures inland during warmer periods. During night time, the temperature is likely to drop below the lower limit of comfort zone. The low night temperatures represent a major source of discomfort, especially in higher altitudes. In the winter, the coastal areas tends to be fog-free. In order to design properly sustainable buildings in Africa, designer must take into account the characteristics of analyzed climatic zones.